And ladies and gentlemen, that was the call, of course, from Mike Brown. Sorry, Mike Breen, my fault. Legendary Knicks announcer, and of course, the NBA lead announcer for ESPN and ABC and everyone under the sun. And recapping last night's big moment, the tip in heard around the world, the hand of God, all the stuff that we've been hearing about, people talking about. There we go. There's the quick clip of that moment. So we were talking and we were sitting around and we're like, yo, we have to get on and give our little take, give our idea, and give our feelings and emotions about what happened last night. I'm a little tired today because I did not fall asleep till after 4 a.m. Because of all the adrenaline that I had pumping through my veins after watching that game. It's the second time the Knicks have done this in this playoff run. First time, of course, was against Cleveland. I was actually at that game, so I got to obviously witness it firsthand. But yes, second time they've done that. So we're going to get into all of that later, but let me bring the guys on first. So let me bring Joe and Ty first to the screen. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, hello.
How are you both feeling? Tired like me, emotional like me. How are you guys feeling after that game last night?
Well, my nose is a little itchy. Hold on. How do we do that?
Dude, my eyes have been heavy all day from last night.
Dude, I didn't get a wink either. I was up most of the night.
Right? Like, how do you sleep after that?
All the adrenaline, man. It's all good though. I don't sleep that much anyway, so this is just another reason not to sleep right now for me. So it's all good.
And as I mentioned, this is the second time they've had a comeback like this in this run, and we're gonna get into later because it's a question I actually want to ask everybody. Like, which one do you think is more impressive? But we'll get to that later, when we get down to the nitty gritty and discussing the game. But we do have two special guests on this show, and they used to be a part of the weekly show, and then they disappeared, and now they're coming back. So let me bring in Craig. And let me bring in John.
Stay alive!
What up, kids?
What's up, brothers? How are you guys doing?
Excellent.
Feeling all right.
Kind of hard not to be, right? Kind of hard not to be feeling excellent after last night's game. But it wasn't like that the whole night.
No.
It wasn't like that the whole night. So I'm not gonna. Since I talk on this show a lot, I'm gonna try not to do too much talking on this week's show with having you guys on. So I'm just kind of set the table for everyone. So real quick, and you guys can all speak about this. Going into last night's game, how did everybody feel? Because I know we had talked in the chat that the vibes for Monday night were not good. You all kind of said that you didn't feel good about Monday. So John, I'll start with you. How did you feel going into last night's game?
I woke up feeling much better than I did after the first half. I'll tell you that, man. I mean, you told me you stayed the whole time at a bar and just wanted to wallow in your misery with your people. Dude, I ran away. I went home. I sat there by myself. I'm like, if I'm going to get mad, I'm going to get mad right here by myself. I could not believe it. Unbelievable. This run in general. And me and you were at that ECF game that they came back. And I was like, wow, I went to the biggest comeback in Knicks history until I didn't. You know, like, holy crap.
I know. Well, we're gonna discuss that a little bit later. We're gonna get into more of that because there's an argument to be made that comeback was more impressive. But we'll get to that later. We will get to that conversation later. So, Craig, how did you feel going into last night and then watching the game? Where were you? What's your the whole take on last night's game?
Well, I turned it off I turned it on. Eight minutes into the first quarter, and they were already down. And I watched until maybe the second half, and I turned it off. And I started watching something on Apple TV. And then I got the notification of 1-0, whatever the score was, and then, someone was in the shower. And then I busted in the shower and I showed her the score. Then she kicked me out and locked the door. And then we stayed up till pretty late watching the post game show, ESPN, all that stuff. And then we woke up today and rewatched the second half, or watched the second half.
That's wild.
And it was pretty good. I thought going in I thought the score would be reversed. You know what I mean? But it wasn't. And I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say. People have been texting me all day, and my response is, I just don't know. I don't have the words. That's been my response all day. I don't know.
Yeah, this team keeps giving us those moments, right? Like, what do you say?
Yeah.
How do you respond to that? And it hasn't just been this year. That's the thing. Like last year, we had the comebacks against Boston, obviously, the two famous games early on. So like this unit has been doing this for a while, and the stakes keep getting higher, and I don't understand. I don't understand a lot of things about what happened last night, and we can go in and we'll discuss all of that. But Joe, Ty, like what were you guys? Because Ty, I know you don't watch the games fully now. I know you kind of work your way into the game, but when you messaged us in the chat, you're like, well, after seeing this score, I don't think I'm going to watch it at all. So, what changed your mind? Like, what got you into saying, okay? At one point, did you like, all right, let me check on it and see how it's going?
Well, really, I only got a 1-floor house, so I couldn't jump off the roof. So it's always a safe thing with that. Once the whole emotions came out of, you know how I am. I try to take the emotions out of everything. So as I was watching the game last night, I score watch. I don't know if the other fellas know, but Joe and Eric know. I watched the first quarter on the phone. I don't do the whole emotional beginnings and the roller coaster crap. I do none of that no more. I was like, I plan on trying to be here for my little nephew. I can't die yet. So I eased my way in. So I'm a score watcher in the first quarter now. So I was watching it, and it didn't help with Eric because Eric's like really like Eric's already paranoid. So we already know this about how nervous he is. I'm watching it, and he goes, "They're not gonna miss." And I'm like, "Well, damn, what does he mean by that?" He's like, "Oh no, they're really not missing anything.
They're not missing it.
So his narrative is playing because the little the notifications pop up, and I'm like, yes. I'm like, dang, this is getting bad because he's even more paranoid now that they're about to get their ass whipped. So I'm looking, and I said, damn, this is a bludgeon thing. This is going to be ugly. This could be real ugly because I kept asking, why is there only one Knick seemingly scoring, which was OG Anunoby? Mm-hmm. So my basketball sense came back, and I said, well, I've seen enough basketball where I know that if one team starts off extremely hot and they go and they blow the doors out of a first half, they usually lose games sometimes because what ends up happening, you can't keep that momentum up and that shooting level up. So what ends up happening is you allow a team, if they're staying aggressive enough and they can get the score down to a decent amount of points, you have a shot in the end. You don't have a shot at the beginning because it's real ugly, but it's a psychological battle at that point. So looking at that, I kept telling Eric, I said, well, yeah, it's bad. So I'm like, no, it's bad. But I said, what can happen, though? I said, if they can get it to 14 by halftime, I was like, they might be kind of good. Well, as we can tell, they actually got nowhere near 14. Like, oh, man, this could be really ugly. So I'm already signing my divorce for the Knicks. I'm going through the whole – I call my lawyer, and I was like, yeah, this may be the end of my fandom moving forward. Yeah. I'm like, I know I'm not living that much longer to watch them try to do this again. So in my mind, I'm like, wow, this could be real ugly. But my faith is that the Knicks have always been, and Eric, though I said, they're a comeback team. They are capable. So Eric knows this is what I said. I said, Eric, this is going to either be the biggest blowout in finals history, or it's going to be the biggest comeback ever in finals history.
You did say that, yes.
And it made me think. I was like, Ty, just keep watching the score. I was doing work anyway. I'm like, just score watch for a little bit and see what the third quarter, how they come out. So I kept watching, and I saw it was 18. At one point, I'm like, all right, maybe let's see what the third gets. And then I saw 15 points, and I said, and then Eric, he's like, oh, I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but we might have some faith here. And that's like, if they get it to 15 in the fourth, I was like, they can beat them. I just felt they could beat them at that point, or get back in and be respectful. They might lose by a couple of points, but they've proven the resiliency as we've all seen. I just don't think since Brunson's been here, they're never out of games. They're just not out of games. And no matter how ridiculous the score has been, and last night was, if you had a diaper on or didn't have one, you might have left to stay in your damn couch and watch these bastards last night, because between the high blood pressure pills you needed and the diaper, this was some ugly crap.
It was the Wu-Tang Clan at the half, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, listen, without the Wu came,
nothing to F with.
without the Wu came through, because it was ugly. I'm like, man, it gives you a little bit of a hit cramp watching them, And I have people that are new Knicks fans, like my sister is a new Knicks fan. So she's
getting bigger, right?
Yeah, so she's like, oh my God. I'm like, welcome to the party. This is what I was like, you have no clue the kind of craziness that goes on. It's like, this is what we talk about, because he's only been seeing, and for the last, obviously anybody who's in the last 5 years, they've been seeing great basketball, so they don't know about what we all know about in this group, that it can get ugly quick and it may never get pretty with makeup. So literally, I was sitting there just with that kind of anxiety, but this team is just, once again, we go back to the other. I think it took me back to Boston, because those 2 20-point comeback. Like, if you sleep on this team, you're gonna get beat. If you sleep on the Knicks, you'll get beat. Yeah, because they're on their A game. But I was like, I don't know if they had an A game after that third game. The third game was very surprising to me, how they came out and they just made a ton of mistakes. But it wasn't until that part, the third quarter, and that 15 points, I said, I think they may have a shot if they can keep the momentum. And sure enough, here we are today.
I know. It was wild. Joe, you are probably the most level-headed one of the group, I would say. You're the calmest usually. I'm definitely the wacko emotional guy of the group, but you are definitely the calmer one of the three. And it's funny because last night when Ty said, "Hey, what's going on?" you were just like, "It's not pretty." Like, come on. So I started laughing when you said that. So what were your feelings during the game? Like, where did you ever drop off? Did you stick with it the whole time? What was your process?
All right. So I walked into that game, watching that game, thinking that the winner of that game is going to win the series. All right. Mm-hmm. So I turned down opportunities to watch the game with other people. I went into complete isolation like a monk. I Grubhubbed some food in. Right. I closed the outside world out, turned the computer off. I just checked a couple of times to check in with the group chat. And I sat there and I did not move 2 inches from the left to the right the entire game and didn't say a word. Until OG had the tip in, where I got up, screamed, and probably scared all my neighbors. But no, it was just one of those things, like, I couldn't believe how bad they were playing, and just this impending sense of dread.
Yeah.
And then seeing it just fall together, it was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. It was the most incredible sporting event I've ever watched. As far as walking out of it, the experience, it almost made up for the Falcons losing to the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Almost.
It's funny you bring that up, because I wanted to ask you about that, because people are comparing those, and I don't think it's the same, because there's still another game to play, right? The Knicks have the Spurs still have a shot. It's a long shot at this point, but they still have a shot. So people are making that comparison, and I'm like, I don't think it's the same. Do you think it's the same? I don't think.
No, it's definitely different, but one was like the most horrible experience of my sports life.
Well, for you, yes, it was definitely different.
definitely. And this was probably the best. But no, there's some parallels, definitely. I mean, they both involve a very, very serious choke job. I mean, let's be honest, bad decisions, from leadership. But just Jesus, what an incredible game. That's all I could say. What an incredible, incredible game. And the thing about it that is kind of like a paradigm shift as a Knicks fan is I've been conditioned not to think that we're going to come through in those circumstances. Even watching this team and what it has done the last couple of years, and I will add in what we did to Boston last year, which was incredible. Just almost conditioned to think that we're not coming out on the right side of this thing. And then after seeing that shot go in, just going, holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just incredible experience.
Right. And the first thing that came to my head was like, this can't happen again. Like, cause like you just, right? Yes. Like you keep thinking like sooner or later, the luck's just like, it's luck. In a lot of sense, it's luck. And you're just thinking sooner or later it's going to run out. Right. Like, as well as the Spurs played in the first half and as well as they shot the ball, everyone always says, yeah, they probably can't sustain that. But it was prolonged. So at one point I was like, no, they are sustaining this. This is not going to turn. They are going to keep doing this. And it got into their heads too, because that's why they probably kept shooting it. They're like, oh, we're shooting so great tonight. We're just going to keep shooting the ball, shooting from three. That's been one of the main criticisms of the game, of how they played the rest of the game when they were up so big. They didn't work the clock. They took shots early in the shot clock. They were shooting too many threes. You have a 7'4" guy. Why are you not going to him inside? All of that stuff. And it kind of defies logic, but I understand it because the human condition says, well, this is how we got this lead. So why are we going to change? Why, change what you're doing? Even though all of the basketball reasons tell you we do have this lead, let's kind of milk.
That's kind of the coach's job, no?
Right. Yep. Right. So that was going to be my next question. Now, in the past, I always thought we had especially in the matchups we lost in the playoffs in the last few years, I always said it was the coach. At the end of the day, it was the coach. I didn't like the Mike Brown hire when they made it. I thought it was, where do you guys sit on that now? Where do you guys sit on the Mike Brown hire? I asked Joe and Ty this last week. So Craig, John, I'll ask you guys. Where do you guys sit with the Mike Brown hire?
I mean, if they win, it's the greatest hire of all time. And Leon Rose has not gotten Executive of the Year, votes that mattered his entire tenure here, and it's ridiculous. So if he wins, it's a great hire. I mean, it's all about results, right? I mean, if they win, no one cares. And I don't think, in fairness to him, I don't think Tibbs, and as much as I love Tibbs, I don't think he would have made any of the adjustments that Mike Brown has. He's just throwing stuff against the wall, and if it works, it works. Tibbs wouldn't do that. So, I mean, I'm good with it right now. You know what I mean? So
right now,
I wouldn't have. I mean, Tibbs would never have played Jalen and Alvarado at the same time.
Nope. Right.
He wouldn't throw, Clarkson in there. He wouldn't play Porty. He wouldn't have done any of that. He would have probably let Towns foul out.
Probably.
I mean, I'm just saying, like, if we're looking at it, like, holistically, Mike Brown is a person based on what we've seen. He has no problem with just asking questions or taking advice from his coaching staff or just players and just let people play, right? So I don't know, man. I'm still trying to process this. So my answers may be all over the place. But right now, I have no problem with the hire. Right now it's a good hire, and he deserves it. He deserves any adulation he's getting right now. So I'm okay with it.
Right, and there's still a lot. There's one game left.
It's still a lot. Yeah, we still got
still basketball.
A lot to deal with. But I'm just saying, right now, it makes sense.
Yeah. John, who did you want them to hire? Because None of us wanted Brown. So
Yeah, I mean, I kind of, if Kenny Atkinson was available, I would have loved to have had him.
No, I mean analytically they won the game, so they won the
Yeah.
series.
Until I heard that one, then I was like, yeah. No, I've told you guys this. I feel like Tibbs was needed. We definitely needed to get him in here. We needed to put this this franchise back on track. And now basically, but he's the guy before the guy. And we went back and forth today a little bit about, I compared him to Mark Jackson and Steve Kerr. Now, it's not the same style or anything like that. I was just saying the guy before the guy.
Mhm.
Sometimes you need a different voice. Sometimes you need, one guy gets you to the base of the mountain and the other guy helps you up. You know what I mean? And I think Mike Brown, we are not seeing the rigidity. We're not seeing the overkill on the minutes. We're not seeing let a guy drown. He would have let Bridges drown in that Atlanta series. He never would have gotten the confidence that he did. He just would have thrown him out there and been like, yeah, no problem. We're going to play this guy 40 minutes, and whether he dies, he dies. You know what I mean? Mike Brown has pulled Hart at times. He's pulled Bridges at times. He's let Shamet roam. He pulled in Clarkson. He dusted him off for what was it, game 3. And he looked pretty solid. Alvarado, he's given serious minutes to. I don't think Tibbs would have done any of this stuff. I think we would have been stuck with the same 5 guys, you know what I mean, sink or swim, you know what I mean? And you just, that's not how you should be as a coach. You got to be more flexible. You've got to, like when Kat came to him and said, maybe I should be playing up high and playing like the Jokic role. And Mike was all ears. He was like, you know what? We'll switch this up. We've never played that way throughout the entire season, but let's switch this up. And then we creamed Atlanta for the rest of the way.
Yep.
That's Mike Brown.
Yeah. Yeah, the flexibility.
And Tibbs probably never would have said who's let the dogs out and barked into the to the speaker. That's classic right there.
I don't think we win this game. And again, I've been a big Tibbs guy. We all know this. I don't think we win this game. Tibbs is our coach right now.
Agreed.
No, I don't think we're sitting here right now if he's our coach. No. They might have lost to the Hawks. I'm just putting that out there. Like they might, because that change is what did it, right? And to John's point, that probably doesn't happen if he's the coach. So,
it definitely doesn't happen. We'd be doing down low and spray, down low and spray, and Cat would be either standing at the 3-point line or standing there by the side of the bucket trying to do something. Or he might play Mitch 48 minutes instead because he likes defensive centers.
It's possible.
That's very true.
That is very true. That's true. All right, so I brought it up early. I'll go to there now. So the 2 historic comebacks that we've had this year, obviously, was last night, 29 points in the NBA Finals, and the other one was the Eastern Conference Finals Game 1 that John and I had the opportunity to actually experience live. So, which is more impressive? Because that one was in a shorter amount of time. That one was only in 7 minutes. They were down 22 points in 7 minutes. They came back and won. This one, obviously, the stakes are a little bit higher. And it was a prolonged one. So, Ty, I'll ask you first. Which one, in your mind, was the more impressive feat?
Excuse my French, but this bitch right here. I don't even think it's close. And you asked the one question is the importance of this game.
Sure.
We're playing for the marbles here. The first round, say the Knicks came out of Cleveland in the Eastern Conference. They lose the first game. You can kind of concede that they had a long layoff. They just fumbled the ball. You didn't believe that they would lose the series just because they lost one game, the first game. You can attribute that to rust. Whereas you look at the Knicks being up 2-0 coming into the Garden, we all would think could be a possible sweep, coming off of how they were able to actually get 2 on the road. That's unheard of usually to get 2 on the road.
Right.
And to know that you had a complete blunder meltdown in game 3 that cost you the game by your gameplay and a bunch of other et ceteras that, were assisted, whether it's blown ref calls, et cetera. Coming into this game, you're expecting the Knicks to have what was someone asked me, one of my friends asked me who's into betting. He seeks my advice for it. Shout out to Peter. He asked me about it, and I said, well, I think the Knicks probably will come out of this game, meaning game number 4, with a certain amount of urgency. And I thought that they would be on full attack mode. So when you didn't see that, now you're saying, well, clearly, if they lose this game, I mean, there's a great chance they might get beat in San Antonio, and this might end in 6, because their confidence is a good question at that point. If they feel like they can't muster up enough energy or have a competitiveness about them that can make them believe they can win again. The comeback magnitude is the same thing as I said when they came back in Cleveland. I think this is all but shut the door for the confidence of San Antonio. You can't kill this team. You know, even when you look at the blunders of game 3, the Knicks kind of lost the game. It wasn't San Antonio beating them. Like, now they've told San Antonio, take your best damn shot. Take your best damn shot. And they did. They did. And it reminds me almost like Buster Douglas. You're watching and you're like waiting for Mike's been beating him, and that one, you're like, oh, he's going to probably win this because it's like a dominance. And there was that one little stray hit and a couple punches, you know, here and there. I remember that fight because he was running and he had icicles on his face. I'm like, well, Mike might be in some damn trouble tonight because I've never seen him with icicles on his face. Watching the same thing. We're watching blow after blow after blow. And to know that they came back in this kind of thing after you've done your best to really, and you're clowning them on top of it. So you're he and pointing fingers, look like you're in their heads. So you're walking around cocky as hell when you think about it. No humility whatsoever, because they purposely came out to embarrass the Knicks. When you see how they played, they were inspired to embarrass and send a message. And think about that. It's like anybody here, you're fighting and you throw your strongest punch. You know you had all your weight behind it. And the guy receiving it laughs at you and saying, okay, now it's my time to hit you back. That's a different kind of feeling. So they beat the hell out of the Knicks, but they couldn't kill the Knicks. So now the Knicks are like, oh, so you messed around and found out that we were not that one, that we are the one. And now we've come back here with this kind of energy, and now we've proven that we don't think you can beat us at all. Your best wasn't even good enough to kill us. So the importance of this game to me was, I mean, I get the Cleveland. I mean, it's all cute. I mean, I love the comebacks. I wish they would just blow teams out. Trust me, go through that crap. But in the same sense, when you look at where we are and it's the finals, and for the New York Knicks to be up, we knew that this game, if they get 3-1, it's more than likely over for any team, because you think the Knicks can at least get 1 out of 3 of these next games. But to know that what was all on the line and they came back, this is some of the most impressive shit I've seen on the basketball court. And I've been watching since I was like 7 years old. This is just was some incredible stuff to see them actually come back and just, I mean, I don't know how the hell they won. I mean, it's improbable. Everything that happened last night.
And they did it twice.
I
mean, yes, this is the weight of the moment is bigger, and they did this in regulation, not in overtime. So this one's bigger than the last one. But the last one was sick too. I mean, like you don't see 2 comebacks like this in one playoff series. That's phenomenal. It's mind blowing.
Yeah.
He also does that.
They keep this has become their thing, right? Like it's kind of become their thing. Like I remember when Jim Harbaugh was playing quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts, they called them the Kardiac Colts because they kept coming back and beating teams. So, you know, this is kind of the same thing. But I would just, again, from a basketball standpoint, right, where we could talk about the emotion of it and everything. But if you look at it from a basketball standpoint, like I said, this was over an entire half. It kind of started late third, I would say. After Wemby's technical, that's really where it started. After he got for elbowing Towns in the face, that's kind of where this thing began. In Cleveland, it really was a compact time frame. So, Joe, when you look at it from that
seconds.
Right. So when you look at it from that perspective, where do you lead?
The weight of the moment still has me on this one. And it's a larger deficit, and I think me and you could romanticize about it because we were actually in the building for it, and that was just you could hear how loud it is on TV, but you cannot even imagine what playoff basketball, how loud it is. I've been there 50, 20, 25, 30 times. I've seen games. Never anything experienced like this. This is so loud. And it just, from the point where it sounded like a funeral, when we were down 22, and then all of a sudden just rising from there into overtime, and then just with every possession, just
and I felt that's how I felt last night at the bar. Like the bar was the same experience. Not as many people, obviously, because you're not in this huge arena, but like everyone was just kind of like, oh, watching the game, like, oh, and I said it in the chat. I'm like, I'm ready to look forward to game 5 now. I was like, let's just, start taking guys out, rest it up, get ready for the next game. But yeah, I still, for me, and not just because I was there, I just think of how everything broke right in that 7-minute span against Cleveland. Everything. And it, to me, it was harder, and they did it. It was harder to do there, and they did it because they had less time to work with. That's my opinion.
So I've never played organized sports.
No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
I've never played organized sports before, but my little sister did. She played at the highest level for high school in Abington, which is a suburb outside of Philly, to the point where Steve Jabby showed up to one of her games to watch. Okay,
nice.
So, and she watched the game. She's not a Knicks fan, but she said she watched the thing from start to finish. And I asked her, I said, how hard is it? How hard it was last night? And she flat out said to me, impossible. She said, it's impossible to come back 29 down when you were down by 15. You cut the lead to 15, then it went back up to 20.
Yeah, it did.
She said, I've never seen, she's like, if I was playing basketball, whatever, she's like, her team was good. They were called the Abington Lady Ghosts, whatever they were called at the time. She's like, we could never do that. She said, it's almost impossible. She said, I don't know how they did it. And she's like, it's not like the Spurs were missing shots. She's like, it's not like the Spurs had a lot of turnovers. She's like, it's not like the Knicks were playing well. I mean, yeah, she didn't play college basketball. She didn't play professionally, but she played organized sports. I didn't. So I'm taking her word for it.
Sure.
She's like, it's impossible. And she's like, I don't know how they did it. And she said, I watched from start to finish, and she said my mouth was like this the entire time. She said, at 7 minutes to go, I thought this game was over. And she said, I don't know how they did it. And now, like, if I couple that with going back and watching it the day after, I just don't understand how they pulled this off. Is it a miracle? Is it? I mean, I don't know. And that's coming from someone who's actually played sports at a competitive level. And she had no answers for it. She said, I don't know. So that's somebody who is in there sweating, getting fouled, getting scratches, and
Understands, right?
You know what I mean? But if she can't understand it, I can't imagine if Jalen Brunson understands it. I can't understand if Michael understands it. We're talking about a legitimate miracle, at least for that game.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had people text me today on Facebook, text message, and they're just like, what happened? I don't know. That's all I had. That's all I got. I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out.
I think you and a lot of other people, because when you're talking about your sister, shout out to her. But did you hear the NBA players respond to this? The text message or the tweet or whatever it was. They all said, "What did I just watch?" Now think about how much they play basketball, and they're asking, "What did I just watch?" And you've seen wows. What the hell was that? So it's like seeing a UFO. The Knicks twice in postseason, because the Cleveland one, I'm not dismissing and poo-pooing about it because you really got to look at it. It was improbable for them to come back. It was like a 0.5% chance that they could pull that off. And then last night they come back and they blow out a team that's blowing them out, and you got the largest comeback ever in the history of the NBA. So you're witnessing some phenomenal things that are anomalies in basketball. I've watched a lot of basketball, and I've never seen what I saw last night. I never saw what I saw in the Cleveland game. So I think everybody's in a little bit of state of shock because, much like your sister saying, this don't happen.
And it
That's
feels,
what's happening in the Knicks.
kind of like destiny. It really does.
They are. It's predestined.
It does. It does feel like a team of destiny. Like, and I don't want to say because they haven't won. They technically haven't won anything yet.
They haven't.
They have not. And I never wanted. I've had people walk up to me when they were up 2-0, and they're like, "Oh," people that I know, and they're like, "Oh, are they going to sweep the Spurs?" I'm like, "No, they're not going to sweep the Spurs. Absolutely not." I think people outside of our orbit want us to be hyperbolic, but it's 20 for me. It's 27 years of heartbreak.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've gotten into a debate about this with my boss, people I work with, people that are in my family. They don't understand how serious this is for people like us.
How beat down we are.
We are we are legitimately traumatized. And they will never, like, my wife got to see the Eagles win 2 Super Bowls in her life, like in a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So, yeah, she's a Sixer fan, but in Philly, I think there's more Eagles than Sixers, right? But for New York, it's Knicks, and that's it.
Yes.
And I remember one time I worked at the Hyatt, and Ed Rendell was the governor at one time, but he still had an office at the place I worked in. And he said, it doesn't matter where the city is, the Eagles, doesn't matter if you're Republican, Democrat, poor, rich, white, black, whatever. The Eagles bring people together. And I'll never forget, he said that 20 years ago to me. And I'm not a native New Yorker, but I have family, Harlem, Long Island, all that. I got you guys. But people just don't understand. And I'm not, I don't want to take away from what you guys have because you guys are actually from New York. But it's kind of like an emotional right now, but
We get it.
We know where you're going. Yes, I know where you're going.
It's like something, like I've been to 5 Knicks games, and every game I've been to at the Garden, 2 of them, they won at the buzzer, or not at the buzzer, but they won in the closing minutes. And my wife's not a Knicks fan at all, but she's been to 2 Knicks games with me at the Garden. And even as a Sixer fan, even she can acknowledge that the energy is different. And it's just something that's just people don't understand, man.
I get it.
It's the
I'm
only.
trying not to cry, dude. Like, it's crazy.
No.
I'm gonna stop
Of the four major sports groups, right? New York has 2 teams in every single one, except the NBA. And I'm not saying that to just be disrespectful. I'm not saying to be disrespectful.
You're right. You're absolutely right.
But yes, like the Nets were New York, then went to New Jersey. Now they're back and they're in Brooklyn, and they just don't have that connection, right? It's missing something. And again, I'm not trying to take anything away from their fans, whatever. Root for who you like, root for who you want to root for.
They're
Yeah, well, nobody was transitioning over to be a Nets fan from a Knicks fan. Moving to Brooklyn was a bad idea. So the Knicks are the
only team we have, I feel that everybody in New York roots for.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's what Craig was trying to say. I get where he was going with it. That's what he was trying to say. It is like the Eagles, yes, I would say are the unifying sports team for Philadelphia. That's who brings them all together. We have 2 football teams here, although really only one seems to matter there as well. Not my team, but that's
not my team.
For a different time. We have 3 hockey teams if you're into hockey. If you count the Devils, there's 3. There's the Islanders. Right? We have the Yankees and the Mets, and it's pretty evenly split, I would say. You probably have more Yankee fans now because of the 90s run and the young kids who grew up watching them, but there's probably more. But still, it's a little more even. Not in the NBA. right? It's I would say it's 95% Knicks and then 5% if I had to do that kind of and it might even be worse. Ratios might even be worse than that.
Yeah,
Joe, I do want to ask you this: how is it playing up there? How the Knicks, is there a
Man, they don't care about anything but the Bills and Sabres up here. There are
okay?
more Red Sox fans here than probably Yankee fans too. New York sports is not a real thing up here. So
Raptors?
I
You don't
work at
think
a
they get
big
Raptors love?
no. You
No?
will see Nick jerseys on. You'll see Nick colors on people. I work for a big medical center. There's a lot of people in it. You'll see people with it. But it's just not a big thing. The big thing with basketball up here is Syracuse
Yeah.
Orangemen. That is
Yeah.
the big basketball passion up here, and they are hardcore.
So when Melo was with the Knicks, was there any kind of
I didn't see a noticeable difference, man.
no?
I
Okay.
think it's just about the Orangemen and having something to kind of root for here. It's funny, you mentioned the New York sports teams. I think I was on Instagram today. They had a Venn diagram with the Yankees, the Giants, kind of on one side, right? The Yankees, Giants, and Rangers on one side, and the Jets, Mets, and the Islanders on the other. And in the middle of the diagram, they had the Knicks. So it was just kind of basically saying what you just talked about.
Yeah.
Like everybody, no matter. And it's kind of funny. The fans do kind of split up like that. I know, like, you're a Yankee fan and an Islander fan.
Yeah, I'm an anomaly with that
Jet
whole thing.
fan. But it usually kind of breaks down like that.
It does.
But no, it's all about the Knicks. All about the Knicks.
It is. It's a wild thing when I think about it, because like I said, we are lucky enough to have two teams in every sport. But yeah, like not really the NBA. That's really kind of where that ends. So, all right. So officially gross. I'm talking about the officials. I didn't want to get into this too much, but it has been a huge topic of conversation in this series. It has been, depending on obviously which side you're on, you're going to say, like, for the Knicks, like, oh, we've been getting the shaft. Certain calls definitely have gone the other way. I could not believe they called Towns for those two fouls so early last night. Even the offensive foul, I'm like, he really didn't hook him this time. It was kind of, and then you saw Wemby's hand in there the entire time, and he could have pulled it out.
Yeah.
Like, so he kind of milked that one, and then he got the call. They challenged it. He got the call. I mean, good thing. But just from a basketball standpoint, and I don't want to, we obviously emotional with the fans, but watching the game, is this taking you out of it at all? How the officials are calling these games? Is it taking you out of saying, like, this is really tough to watch? Anyone could take that one.
Yeah, it is. It's been tougher to watch. There's not a lot of flow to the game. And I feel like the discrepancy between the two teams, we're getting a lot less foul calls. I mean, are we hacking the heck out of Wemby, or is he just the pretty face of the league? Because I've seen him do all sorts of stuff. I mean, let's forget the push down on Jalen, but you can see he is wrapped up on multiple guys, like both hands coming around the waist, moving people to the side. And, the only time that he can't do that is against, like, Cat or Mitch, where he can't move that mountain. You know what I mean? But the guards, he seems to push them around all night. And when he can't do that, he locks a guy like Carl up. And when he retaliates, it's awful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, over the last 3 games, they took Cat out early in game 2. They took Bridges out early in game 3. They took Cat out early again in game 4. I mean, this can't be fair. It's not called, at least not early. But then last night in the second half, they seemed to swallow their whistles an awful lot and let us do whatever we wanted to do. Not that we manhandled them in the second half, but there could have been a few calls here and there, and they let that run go. You know what I mean? So I don't know how unfair it is, but at times the technical end of it, or like the offensive foul end of it, doesn't seem to be fair. The Castle tackle the other night where he wasted Jalen. You know what I mean? The throwdown by Wemby. Like, you really, none of the three of you saw that? Come on, man.
Yeah.
You can't call you can't be a proponent of ethical basketball if you're playing unethically. And I've been saying
Exactly.
I was giving him a lot of respect early, because he seems like he's, like, cares. But I don't know, man. He's not playing ethically. I mean, like, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but you can't preach one thing and do the complete opposite. So I don't know. I don't get it with these kids.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, he's been the big elephant, literally and figuratively, in the room in this series because he's the biggest guy on the court. And like we've talked about it, Ty, you and I have been fans of his from the like we saw him a few years ago before he was drafted, and we watched and we are like, wow, this kid is special. What he could do at his size. So I'm not taking away any from his talent. Like he's a tremendous talent. He's not as good as he thinks he is yet, though, and that's the thing I'm kind of like wanting to tell him, like, dude, you will be probably someday, and you could shut us all up. But right now, be easy, like be a little bit more humble.
So that whole team's going to be scary when they grow up.
Yes, but do you think it? And we've seen this with other players. Do you think part of it is his awkwardness? Because I do.
For me,
like the fact that anyone, just in general, do you think part of it is that he's so big and like his height pushing his maybe forcing someone out looks worse when you're doing it on Brunson and you're hitting him in the head, whereas if you're doing it on someone else and you're getting them in the body? Or do you think it's premeditated?
I'll take this one. He's a douchebag.
He's trying not to be French.
He's a douchebag because you know what? It's like
Everybody hates.
I was waiting for us to get on this subject about this dude. You know, I have all the respect. I mean, I'm old school. We've been through the Detroit Pistons, and I watched 80s basketball where they would like literally pull out a gun and shoot you on the floor while sniffing cocaine. I'm not that damn sensitive. But in the same sense, it's like if you're going to be a full asshole, you just need to be a full one and not talk to people down to people with arrogance like I'm some Buddhist monk and the purity.
I don't drink soda. Get this Gatorade away from me.
God. You know, this pretentious arrogance. And you're a douchebag. That's all you are. Let's just keep it a buck. You know, this dude does not play ethical basketball whatsoever. He's a talent. Don't ever get me wrong. I know he's talented. He knows he's talented. But what he's also doing is getting away with murder. He has that Grayson Allen to him. Like, you don't have to resort to the bull that you do, but you just some reason want to. Because you have an advantage on most people because your height alone, you're the tallest person in the NBA. Unless Bol might be taller, but needless to say, you're not as talented. So Wembanyama doesn't need to do cheap stuff to have an advantage. But what we've seen, and we had a video today that came across about how he looked like he was running I don't know what the hell he was doing. He looked like he was jumping over.
That was weird.
And
that
then
was so weird.
Jumping at OG?
Yeah, the OG thing for me was a tactic that he would have probably said, oh, it's out up there. Whatever the hell he talks, how he talks. And he jumped into OG Anunoby knowing that OG has a hamstring issue. You know, the Embiid-ish kind of stuff that's going on also, where you do that last douche move that you know can hurt a player, and then you're going to get back and act innocent. I didn't do anything. But when you watch his antics, he's got a little wiring going on, a little mental wiring issue going on, like that psychopathic kind of stuff going on. Because you watch how he was engaging with Mitch when Mitch gave him the shiv. And he's doing, you know, and he's all animated, like he's thinking better than every other player. It's the smartest man in the room. That's what he reminds me of. It's basketball arrogance, and he's a douchebag. Because
you're going to get a technical follow through, Mitch.
Yeah, because it's like what you saw him do to Jalen. All right. You know, Shaq should have just not said anything about it because everything with him is, oh, I'm the big man and all that stuff. Yeah, and he was also fat. If you ate 2 less cheeseburgers, you'd have 7 rings. Let's just keep it a buck. Don't act like, oh, Jalen's in his way. Yeah, if he was to give Jalen a pick or something like that, but you're taking your force of your body and you're pushing down on a 6'2" dude from 7, and you're 7'8", and you could mess his neck up, mess his back up. There's a lot of damage you can do because people look at him like he's skinny. That doesn't mean crap. You can be wiry. John's a skinny dude, and I know he's strong as hell. You can be skinny and wiry and very strong. So when looking at that OG play today, I'm like, this is just a dirty bastard. I ain't talking about ODB from Wu-Tang either. He's a dirty little bastard. And
it's a little much. They may need to pick a new face for the NBA. He may not be the guy. He seems like he comes off like the bad guy from Talladega Nights.
You know who he reminds me of? He reminds me of, if we're talking about douchiness, I don't know so much about Grayson Allen. I'm thinking Christian Leitner while I do.
That's a good one, too.
That's a good one.
He has that aloofness, that kind of aboveness of everyone. Now, Christian Leitner lost that when he went to the NBA because people were going to beat him down over it. I get like Duke Leitner from him.
That's a good
Exactly.
Your comparison, Joe, to me is better than mine. The only difference is that Grayson would trick guys knowingly. And I think with
Duke guy.
He's taking it as that he knows he's a little insulated now and that they are trying to prop him up. Because that elbow he delivered in Minnesota empowered
That
him
was the first time.
anything because he should have been suspended 2 games. Any
He
other
should be
player,
suspended now.
yeah, if that was
that tech from Jalen.
Oh, please. If that was Cat, he would have been suspended for 25 games.
in that league, they'd have sent him to China. He wouldn't even be playing in the NBA no more if that was Cat. And to watch that move purposely through that elbow was disgusting. I don't care if they're and all that because you physically couldn't match the intensity of some of those players on Minnesota that were grown men, similar to like what you're seeing right now. Who is his biggest opposition when you think about it? His biggest option on the Knicks is OG Anunoby. That's the one guy he fears the most, having to guard him. I know Carl does it, but it's really OG. OG makes a nightmare for him. He's dunked twice on him. So you mean to tell me I'm supposed to ignore that move he did and think it's a casual? I've never seen a basketball player in all. And you guys correct me if you have. Have you ever seen? If you've watched that video, have you ever seen a basketball player like that?
No.
I don't even understand the genesis of it. Like, what would even make you do that?
Other than you're trying to hurt somebody. I'll finish it for you. That's the only reason. Because within the technicality of the book, he could say he's setting a screen. But I've never seen someone hung kung fu-y. Well, y'all might not be old enough, some of y'all.
We are.
Jump. And you're doing this, and you are what the hell was that move?
He's waiting for OG to move into him, and then he can say, "Oops, I was just throwing myself at him, and he moved into me." No, bro. And then OG's out.
Oh, he's out
for the series, and Wemby's not even suspended at that point.
Yeah, because he knows he's
a half-ass move, but it was definitely intentional. I agree with you, dude.
Yeah, that's like Joel Embiid said that Mitch was trying to fall on him, and no, you grabbed Mitch's leg. You didn't. I mean, these people nowadays, they'll make you think you don't know what you saw. And that type of move, I almost thought it was AI when I saw the replay until I saw Ian Bailey at it, because I'm like, he ain't did that crap. He ain't did that. You know what I'm saying? Looking, I'm like, what is he, a jackrabbit? I've never seen.
It looked ridiculous. You slow it down, it looks even worse.
It looks worse. It looks worse. And it's just like, what kind of that's not, it's like Stephen Castle when he shivved Jalen Brunson. So
that wasn't a basketball move at all.
Who's not a big basketball. That's exactly it. He asked me, he says, "Oh, that's not a foul." I'm like, there's nothing in the basketball realm.
No, but you know what it was? You know why they let him get away with it? Because he wasn't looking at Jalen when he did it.
Yep.
He was looking ahead, like he was looking at the ball. And, bro, you didn't see him. You saw him, and you threw your arm out with it. Yep. That's not a basketball play.
That's not
got away with that one.
That's not a basketball play. There's a difference if he's going in for a layup. We've all watched 80s basketball. I mean, Craig's not old enough to watch that type of basketball, but I'm saying we've seen Detroit play extremely dirty. We know it, but it's along the lines of you're coming into the lane, I'm going to slam you down because you're making a basketball move, and I'm technically playing defense, but I'm just going to body the hell out of you with all my might to throw you off course. So be careful if you want to come in here, but it's still a basketball attempted move, even if it's defense. These people coming with flying elbows like they're Ricky Steamboat. Are you serious?
Ricky Steamboat.
I love it.
Oh, it's like this is some of the most. Is that Tito Santana that flew? I think about it.
Tito Santana was
the. You know, come on, man. This is like some of the worst crap. And if you're going to talk about the officiating, The one egregious thing was the interpretation of what some of these things are. And nobody could tell me Wemby's the biggest dude on the floor. You didn't see him put his forearm in the Jalen's back of his neck. You didn't see none of that. Come on. That's the gross officiating, as Eric put it so nicely, that I found a problem with. Not just so much as the ticky-tack fouls that kind of happen. Superstars get calls, obviously, that, in their favor. It's part of the NBA. We all know it. It's just the egregiously bad crap that was let go. This dude should have flagrants with a Z. This is not basketball. He's not playing. And now if he elbowed Cat, was the elbow to the neck for Cat?
Yeah. It was around, about the back of his neck.
So wasn't that, what was it, a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2? So that should be a flagrant 2. Any elbow thrown above the neck to the head is an automatic ejection. This dude is still playing?
They called it a basketball move. At least the commentators did when it came down to it. They said it resembled a basketball move.
They're in on it too. Some of those bastards.
They do a lot. They are making a lot of accommodations for this kid, man. I don't know why the league dies to put a new face on itself, man. You got plenty of good players in this league. You don't need one guy to lead you.
He's
and he doesn't need to be
brings an
anointed
new
before,
audience.
and not be able to be found.
Yes.
You can't have an untouchable player.
And I mean, I've been to France now. Joe, you've been to France now. I can tell you,
It ain't that great.
I can tell you, I was just there, and they literally, the NBA is not huge there, but he is.
Mm-hmm.
And again, literally and figuratively, he's huge. But I was there during the beginning of the playoffs, and they were selling out huge theaters. Again, and they have to watch it at nighttime. They're overnight,
right?
To watch their games. Mm. So he is huge. So Joe's right. He's a foreign player, international player. Let's be honest, good-looking guy. I'm not going to say he's a good-looking guy.
Yes,
and that goes a long way. Yeah,
the NBA is the most global game out of all American sports, and this just helps that machine.
Yeah,
it does.
And they're trying to expand into international markets. If he becomes the face, I guess it's.
Yeah.
And it's not going to be Luka. Luka blew that chance. It could have been him.
Blew that chance.
But all the beer drinking and
nobody cares about
what's more American?
Well, they say that Adam Silver's answer for the problems in the NBA is always expansion in global market. That's all his answers are. It's never to fix the game. It's to expand and have a European market. So that's going to be
water down the talent even more than it is already.
But in fairness,
third biggest economy in Europe, also.
Yeah.
If you include the UK, it's the third biggest economy in Europe.
But in fairness, so now I'm flying from New York to Europe somewhere. You know what I mean? I've got I got a 10-hour flight, 11-hour flight, somewhere in that neighborhood that I have to, and I got to play tomorrow.
Yeah.
But in fairness, I can't argue against the business model, right?
Oh, I can't. I'm not.
No. At the same time, it doesn't do very well for the play.
Yeah, like my thing is like, hey, you guys know I'm a capitalist. Make as much money as you possibly can, and if that is the goal, right? I can't argue against that. But how can you? But you can serve two different masters, right? Expand the game, but at the same time, keep it ethical, and not have to prop this guy up. Just play the game, and if he loses, he loses. He's still gonna have fans.
He's gonna get there, right?
Exactly.
The
Spurs
team is going to win at least 3 titles in this next decade.
Yes,
I'm almost guaranteed.
It doesn't have to
They
be.
keep that core together, they're going to win that.
Absolutely, 3 22-year-olds that are killing it.
Yeah,
it does not have to be this year. I mean, just let it be organically. He's that good.
Yeah,
there's nothing. We thought KP was the unicorn. No, this MFer is the unicorn.
But from a business model, isn't there tremendous value in the Knicks winning one?
That's what I'm saying.
I would think so.
Has to be on the other side of that equation. That there's got to be probably more utility, considering, like you were just saying, that the rings are going to come from San Antonio. This kid is going to be a monster. The team is going to be a monster. But the Knicks winning one, that is a transcendent event in the NBA.
Well, Joe, that's the argument that people will give you that, oh, this isn't fixed. They're not doing it for him. It's the Knicks. They should want the Knicks to win. Like that's the argument, the counter argument to the argument for, right?
You know what the league is right now, or at least if we're going down that rabbit hole or whatever. It's the virgin on prom night, right? It's the kids from. I'm being serious, right? Well, what movie was that with when they were trying to? I can't. Crap, what's the name of that freaking movie? Where the kid's trying so hard.
I can't hear this one. I don't know the movie.
He's trying so hard to get what he wants.
Super bad.
Yes, exactly. Super bad. Yes. He's willing to drink laundry detergent mixed with beer to get to the end result. And that's what it seems like the NBA and Adam Silver are doing right now.
Yeah.
Is that a crazy analogy? Am I like that's what it feels like?
And we're a
It's
very
a,
likable
like-
team. I think we're a very
We
likable.
are a very likable team. Two
Very
first-round
easy team
picks.
to root for.
I'm
Yes.
sorry, 2 second-round picks.
There's
and-
nobody to hate on this team.
No one to hate. Legitimately, no one to hate. Especially people from my area. Besides the Eagles, the only team to hang a banner
Nova.
is Villanova, and somehow people still hate this team. I don't get it.
Yeah.
It drives me crazy. You have a local kid from Philly, right? You have a local kid from DC, and you have another kid who theoretically is from the area.
Jersey.
If you count his connection with Leon Rose, I just don't understand it. How can you can hate the Knicks? I get it, but how do you hate this team?
Mhm.
I'm trying to
People
think.
New York, I
New
think.
York.
I
They
know.
hate New Yorkers. It's
Yes.
New Yorkers they hate. It's like, remember that the years of the Knicks battling the Pacers, and it was Hicks versus
Knicks versus Knicks.
Knicks
versus
versus Hicks, yeah.
But meanwhile, there was more New Yorkers on the Pacers than there were on the Knicks.
True.
So it was just really more so. It's New York hate. They don't like us outside of New York. I'm just gonna tell you. If you've been in New York, well, they say you can tell New Yorker. Macro's quote is, "New York, you just can't tell them anything." That's literally when you tell somebody you from New York. There's all these things that come along with who you are. Like we're uncivilized savages that wear Timberlands, and we just go around sticking up our middle fingers, cussing everybody out. We're not friendly. And they think we have an arrogance, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because New Yorkers are extremely humble because we know the economic system here. You got to bust your ass. You appreciate your dollar in New York.
Mhm.
The dollar won't go anywhere in New York. So this belief that we are these entitled pricks and that we're arrogant, it's like, no, we just don't got time to be casual because your life moves in the New York minute, which I've always said is 30 seconds. So I don't think this has anything to do with the personalities of these guys. There's just a New York hate, and they associate these guys as being New Yorkers instead of just being nice people. Well, there's nice people in New York. There's nice people in New York. They just think New York is Manhattan and a bunch of loud cabs. It's so crazy.
I just saw a comedian who said, "We're not rude, we're aggressively kind."
That's nice. I like that one. That's
what?
But they're the complete opposite, though.
Because we'll
This
help you.
team-
We'll help you, and at the same time rag on you while we help you. But you're going to get the help you need, but you're going to hear about it.
There's legitimately
People don't
nothing
like
like
that shit.
Well said.
There's legitimately nothing like New York.
No.
I love Philly. I was born and raised here. I love being from Philadelphia, and I will fight you tooth and nail. But there's nothing like New York. It is legitimately the greatest place in the world. It wears on you. It hurts you, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you come out feeling better. You come out being stronger. My dad was a huge Tom Sixer fan, but his 2 favorite players were Clyde Frazier and Earl Poor Monroe. Even though Earl was from Philly, but he loved this. He loved those 2 players. There's nothing like that place. And if people can't realize that, Philly, especially South Philly, I don't mean to get on a rant here. South Philly is mini New York. You have Italians, you have Irish, Cambodians, you have Filipinos, you have black people, you got regular white people. It's I don't understand how Philly and New York people don't love each other because we're basically the same.
Mhm.
Right? There's nothing like it. And we were there for me and my wife were there for our anniversary for the Raptors game, and I can't put into words. People don't understand what it's like. Just walking from Penn Station, 5 minutes to our hotel, it's nothing like it. You got rich people, you got a homeless person yelling obscenities. It's the greatest place in the world. Like, I was a cop for 10 years. They say it's the greatest show on earth, right? No, New York City is the greatest show on earth.
Yeah.
How do you hate this?
I
How
mean,
do you hate that place? Crazy.
even the whole traveling I've done, like in the past few years, overseas and stuff. Like I've been to most of the major cities of the world now. I've been to Paris, I've been to London, I've been to Tokyo. Obviously haven't been to Moscow or any of those, but those are like, I consider the big four, and I live in New York, right? And there's similar energy in those places, and there's certain pockets of it that you feel. But man, and I could be because I'm from here. Maybe I'm a little biased. I'm sure I am.
Oh,
But it is just different. It is
you're
a
not
different type of
biased, dude.
place.
You're not
And
biased at all. You're not
That's
biased.
different.
It's funny. Craig says that I have cousins that came to visit New York for the first time from Virginia, and they did obviously the cliche. They went to Times Square. I have pictures up of them, and let me tell you the appreciation they had, because I'm like, oh, they're coming from a very small town in Virginia, so I'm like figuring, I was like, oh, they're gonna be overwhelmed a little bit by the noise and whatever, and their eyes lit up like saucers because one of my cousins, she was like, I've dreamed of this place. She was like, and I'm finally here. So as a New Yorker, when you hear these things, you go, you dreamed of this? And she was like, because the only thing that she could imagine is everything she's seen in the movie. And then when she came to visit, all the realities of the things that she dreamed about, the bright lights, the activity around the city area. And of course, that's very commercialized, it's meant for tourism, but it was more so, I would have thought they would have been more fearful of the moment, and they were walking like New Yorkers. They just embraced it and were like, we're ready to come back again, which I was extremely shocked. But, there's nothing missing here. Like I know people, from the dirt to the clean, it depends on what direction you really want to go to. But you can get everything in New York, because like I said, they think New York is just Manhattan. Well, we got farms here. We got everything in the world is here in New York, whether you're upstate Joe where he is, or you down here on Long Island, Suffolk. I know Eric don't come out to Suffolk, but Suffolk County. Look, it's beautiful out here. This is like an oasis for a lot of people. When you wouldn't think it, but New York has everything. There's calm, and then there's not calm. You can get the best of a lot of different worlds here. So
New York hurts, but it's a good hurt.
Oh yeah. That's a good way of saying it. I like that you said that.
It hurts, but it's a good hurt. You came back and we're like, I want to go back.
Yeah, it's a good hurt. That's
a good hurt.
I like that.
That's an interesting way to put it. All right, I'm gonna go on a little rant here. I've been seeing a lot of things going on during this run, and I've talked about this in the past with just the stuff you see after the games about the over celebration, right, and that stuff. But now I'm seeing it become violent. Now you're seeing people attacking other fans. I saw something happen in a freaking Five Guys where the cook behind who was making the food, he was a Spurs fan, and then these Knicks fans just get up. These kids, they're throwing chairs, literally chairs. Yes. So look, I'm gonna be 50 in a few months. Like I'm finally reaching the age of. Sorry, Craig, you're cool. Like you're still young.
I'm 42. It's only 8 years.
But the rest of us here now, I will be joining the 50 club in a few months, and so I am an uncle. So you can call this the Uncle Eric rant if you want. To everyone out there who's under 30, I'm gonna say under 30, and yes, you don't remember, the 90s years. You don't have any connection to those things. You don't have any connections, obviously, to the championship years. Like we don't either. But still. You don't have any of that. I understand this is a fun time for you, and this team is bringing you together, and you want to, enjoy it and celebrate. I have no problem with celebrating, but destroying property is not celebrating. Attacking fans because they're different, they root for the other team. That's not celebrating, And all you're doing is giving the rest of us a bad name and making yourselves look like asses. And we get blamed lumped in with you because, like, oh, all New Yorkers are that way, right? All Knicks fans are that way.
Mhm.
And so if you're watching this and you're of that age, I just want to say this out to you. Stop it. Literally. Don't just think twice. Would you want someone attacking you because you're a Knicks fan and they root for another team? Just because you walk into an arena with a different jersey on? Like, yes, I know this has happened in sports forever. People get passionate, fights break out. Usually it's because alcohol is involved. But I'm not seeing any kind of substances with these. This is just people acting a fool and being idiots over a time that should be a fun time. Yes, we're all passionate about sports, but at the end of the day, it's sports, guys. It's a game.
Mhm.
These guys are all playing games. So yes, enjoy it, celebrate 100%. But stop, do not keep the violence where it belongs. Like, it doesn't belong in this arena. And
boys, I got to run, unfortunately. I will talk to you later. It was a pleasure.
All right, Jack. Peace
Have a
out.
good
Nice
night,
to
Hey,
fellas.
John.
All right.
yes, sir.
A friend of my old sergeant, he's not a Knicks fan, and he will not jump on the bandwagon, but he loves this moment. He's here for the chaos. He said if the Knicks win in San Antonio, New York will no longer exist because they'll burn the city down. But I sent him a video. No, maybe he sent me a video. Sorry, he sent me a video on Instagram of a bunch of Knicks fans and a white female cop making a basket, one of those little NBA buses.
Mhm. Mhm.
That is that's they're like the Knicks right now are bridging the gap, right? I was a cop for a decade, and I've always preached bridging the gap, trying to find that commonality.
Mhm.
But you have a white female cop in New York City making a basket on the back of a bus, and everyone was enjoying it.
Mhm.
That's what this winning should be about. Not assaulting people, not hurting people. It's just if the Knicks win this, they're going to bring so many people together. And that one video is what it should be about. She took her hat off, put it on her asp, not asp, like her little baton thingy, right? Sorry.
Pause me. Go on.
And she hit that shot, and just people around her went crazy. That's what this should be about.
Yeah.
And you should not be hurting people. You should not be treating people like crap. And I had a friend of mine send me a message, Knicks fans are horrible. And I said, that's not what we do. It's a couple people doing something stupid.
Yeah.
And the Knicks are out here legitimately bridging the gap with everybody. I got a white dude, I got a black dude. I hate to say it because it's not funny, but I got a black dude telling a white dude it's okay to use the N-word because the Knicks are winning. Right?
Well, damn.
What are we doing right now?
What are you
That's what this team is doing right now. He's like, I'm giving you a pass right now. You can say it.
Ah!
And he said it, and then everybody went crazy. So I don't understand.
I saw
This is what this team is
comedian.
doing, and we should not throw that away by us legitimately hurting people, if that makes any sense.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
I saw a clip of a comedian talking about the
I
goodwill
can't hear
that
anybody. Hold on.
on because
Hello?
the Knicks won, winning. Like, the scenario he pulled up was getting robbed by somebody in New York, and then the dude turning around and going, "But the Knicks," and be like, "Yeah, you're right," like calling off the whole robbery. Yeah, you're right. Knicks win.
I think part of the issue too is, I mean, well, let me start off with the first thing. Some of these kids just ain't never had their ass whooped, to be very honest. And I think when you grew up in a certain era, you just knew there was a repercussion to your actions. Now a lot of them have grown up in this era of entitlement, never having any kind of physical repercussions, and they just chirp off, run their mouths. And then, of course, the second phase of that is the fact that you have guys now that everybody wants to go viral. So all these viral moments of violence, and over the topness, you get a lot of those antics going on because they just want to hit 1,000 likes or go globally, like whatever the hell retarded crap that they're doing as far as with the computer. So I think you start to see a little bit of that also, and they're just saying, I'm going to have my moment. 4 guys are going to jump one guy in a stupid way, and we're riding for the Knicks. Well, you know what? No real Knicks fan, especially those that are over in our age group, condone any of that retardation because it just doesn't make sense overall to any of us. We're here for the winning of basketball. And yes, it's almost like the fans that cross the line even in the game. I'm like, you know what? It's okay to boo. It's okay to yell. You might say somebody suck. Okay. I think the players are used to that. But you got to also have a certain tact that these people are people too. You don't all of a sudden bring up something very personal, something racial. Like, what do you think that's going to result in? It's just the disgusting behavior that needs to be. And we don't know what happened with Jalen even in San Antonio, but we're starting to see just really fans cross the line in a lot of ways instead of just going there and enjoying a game. And maybe betting also adds to this as well. A lot of these, you hear a lot about the betting. And these people are very, triggered by they lost their betting. I don't know what the betting stuff is. I don't bet. But I'm just saying they didn't make their parlays and all that stuff. There's a lot of anger from the fans saying, oh, I didn't hit. Even I was watching 520 podcast. Is that the one with Teagues? I think that's 520. And one of the he was mad using all kind of whatever he had to say. And it was not because the Knicks won. It was because he lost money. So you're on a podcast talking about sports, but then you bring it personal level and how you're talking about De'Aaron Fox and just belittling him. Oh, because you didn't hit your parlay. So it's like the lines of respect have completely blurred and they've been lost. Especially for Knicks fans, definitely stop making us look bad because us old heads here, we just want to win a championship. That's all we've ever wanted. We're not obnoxious. Like I said before, New Yorkers are not, I forget what the phrase John used, but New Yorkers are not like that. We really don't got time to really pay your ass any attention. And that's where the rude thought comes that we're rude. It's just, you got to get to your job or you're running around most of your life here at a rapid pace that no part of the country or part of the world probably can ever really understand how fast life goes by in New York. So we're not rude and obnoxious. We're very helpful when need be or if we are able to. We come together as a community when need be. When you see somebody in trouble or in need, you see somebody with a stalled car, you can probably get a couple of guys or people get out the car and start pushing the car. So that's not indicative of who we are as New Yorkers. Yeah, we're a little brash, but like I said, it's more about us not having the patience to not be brash and needing to get somewhere. So these idiot kids, like I said, if you had your ass whooped, you probably wouldn't try to whoop somebody else's ass.
That is a fair statement, for sure. It only needs to happen once, and then you kind of realize, all right, really not hot shit. Yeah, I'm not hot shit, right? I'm not as important as I think I am, or tough. So, yeah, craziness. We even saw Rick Brunson say to De'Aaron Fox, like, you're not tough, like you're not that guy. So why?
That's one of the best. And I don't know Rick, but what I've seen and heard about Rick, it just seems like Eric knows that. I think I said it to the group actually. I said Rick looks like the type of person to be like, look, start the car, I'm gonna snuff him. That's what he looks like. In the club, just had a car started. And nobody can't tell me there's probably not a Rick Brunson story where he was like, I got him. Just start the car.
I'm sure. Yes.
He just looks like the type. Everybody knows a guy like that. And it didn't shock me when I saw him do like that. He's like, don't do that. Crazy. Father thing. I think it was, I know his Jalen's his son. He's going to protect his son, but it was more like, he was like more like, you trying that? You trying that? And my son's been busting your ass since high school. You're trying that? Don't go there. So it's just so funny.
Yeah, it's the second time I've seen that. I was watching recently someone say that to someone. Like the other one was in a tennis match, crazy enough.
Oh wow.
Tennis player. Francis Tiafoe said it to his opponent. His opponent was talking all this stuff, and he goes, you're not tough. Like, you're not that guy. Stop it. Like, what are you doing over here? So it was weird that it happened, like literally with like a 2-week span of each other. But yeah, just enjoy, like, just again, I understand it's emotional. You know, you're invested in this team and what's going on right now. And I totally want people to enjoy it and have a good time. But I mean, attacking people because they're fans of another team or whatever, that's not cool, and that's not who we are. That's not who we are as Knicks fans. Like Ty just said, most of us, we just want a championship at this point. We're just like, screw it. We've been waiting long enough for this crap. So we just want a title. All right. So on that note, let's shut this one down. I want to thank you guys first for pulling this together. This is not the normal night that we do this. Craig, I want to thank you for coming on. It's great having you back. John, again, you too. You had to leave early, but it was awesome having you back. It's an awesome time. Again, I never put the chickens. Don't count my chickens before they hatch. There's still plenty of NBA basketball left to be played. But we're in a good position. We're in a really good position, and we have to get one of the next three. I think we could do that.
First team to four.
Right, first team to four. Like Kobe famously said, they asked him with up 3-1. He goes, "Are you happy? What to be happy for? Job's not done, right?" So, job is not done, but let's hope it gets done this weekend.
Yes.
This weekend. And if Knicks fans, if you are traveling to San Antonio, I looked into it. I don't know if I'm able to do it. I thought about it. But if anyone watching is traveling to San Antonio, be safe, be respectful. Like I said, show them the good parts of this fan base. Be respectful.
Buy him a drink. Buy him a drink.
Yep, buy him a drink. If we win, please act accordingly. Don't act the fool.
Yeah.
In someone else's city, because we don't want those stories either. And just enjoy yourselves. Have a great time. Again, guys, this is sports. All supposed to be fun. So let's continue this ride, and hopefully it ends on a positive note for us.
Yes,
So for Joe and Ty and Craig and John, I am Eric. You're watching All Nicked Up. We'll see you next time, hopefully, to talk about a title.
All
Take
right.
care.
Peace out, guys.